You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, Days fans. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, delivering your weekly Days of Our Lives prediction edition. We've got 3 hot predictions. One for Ava, Harris, and Stephanie. And then we've got one for Teresa and Stephanie. Yeah, 2 for Stephanie this week. And Sarah and Xander. All right. And as always, our predictions are based on official soap opera spoilers, recent episodes, NBC soap history, good stuff like that. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed, please click that button so you don't miss any of our updates. Our first prediction is that Ava is going to drive Harris into Stephanie's bed. There's this really weird spoiler for this Friday, December 15th, saying Harris Michaels and Stephanie Johnson wind up in bed together. So that's the spoiler. But the question is, how the heck does that even happen? I mean, it's kind of awkward given that Harris put Stephanie in the hospital once. Do you guys remember that? If you don't watch Beyond Salem, this might not be on your radar necessarily. Back before Harris returned to the flagship main soap opera days, they had brought him back initially on Days of Our Lives Beyond Salem Season 2. That was when he was the hunky Navy SEAL, the brainwashed, murderous minion of Megan Hathaway. Not only did he almost shoot Hope Brady on their wedding day to get that prism, but he also attacked the Johnson family. Harris delivered a pizza to Stephanie Tripp and Joey's apartment in Seattle, only it wasn't extra cheese, it was an extra scary bomb. And Stephanie wound up blowed up and in the hospital as a result. Of course, Harris wasn't in control of his actions back then, and he has apologized to all the Johnsons, but it would be really weird for her to wind up in the sack with a guy who literally tried to murder her. But that is typical Days. You know, Xander kept Nicole in a cage, and years later, she was in his sheets for a night. And Stephanie's fresh off dumping Chad, so it's easy to see where her mental state is. But how does Harris fit into that? Well, he's kind of evicted from a relationship too. Clyde Weston orders Ava Vitale and her partner in crime, Stefan DeMera, to step up the drug trafficking out of the bistro. And I think Ava doesn't want Clyde to be able to use her closeness to Harris to hurt him again, like with the stolen key incident. So as Ava's working on the bistro grand opening, she asks Harris to leave. I think she goes a step further and calls things off with him, just, to protect him, not because she doesn't want him. So newly dumped Harris may wind up drinking with Stephanie and things get wild from there. The only thing wilder would be if he knocked her up, which is another typical plot that Days likes to do. But I'm not predicting that right now, but something to think about. Keep in the back of your mind. All right, our second prediction is that Teresa Donovan's going to have to up her game because Stephanie is single again. Teresa Donovan has several irons in the fire right now. She's got Alex fooled into thinking he's Victor's long-lost son. She's conspiring with Constantine to help him make Maggie his wife so he can try and steal Victor's money that he thinks he owes him. And of course, that led to the baby kidnapping. This week, someone else finds out Teresa was involved with Victoria's brief kidnapping. The official spoiler says that a Donovan finds out her dirty secret and keeps it. I mean, maybe it's Tate overhearing something, but I don't think so. I suspect it's going to be her dad, Shane Donovan, because Steve asked Shane to use ISA assets and cameras to get security footage around the park so they could see the kidnapper. So it's possible that Shane is the one who gets footage of Teresa in that hoodie, creeping around with the baby and meeting Constantine in the park. But it is equally likely that Shane will keep his daughter's dirty secret because the baby was returned, kind of a no harm, no foul sort of situation. Maybe Teresa can express it to her dad that way. The problem is Teresa's about to have a much bigger obstacle in her gold digging future, and that is Stephanie Johnson, who is now single. Do you guys remember how crazy Alex Kiriakis was for Stephanie, and I think he still is. And there's a new spoiler photo of Alex with Stephanie at her parents' place. It looks like he's setting her down, like maybe he carried her inside. And her new ex, Chad, is at the door looking none too pleased. So I wonder if Alex is going to find Stephanie out and about drunk. She's drinking with Jada, who is mourning the anniversary of her dad, Marcus's death. So I think Alex may deliver her back to her parents' place where she's living now, and that's when Chad sees them. The bottom line, though, is that a woman that Alex was crazy about is now available. So how far would Teresa Donovan go to make sure Stephanie doesn't catch Alex's eye again? I would think pretty far, considering just the very nature of this woman. Teresa can be an unhinged schemer, so this whole thing could go very badly for Stephanie. And if Alex catches Teresa plotting against Steph, I think that is a deal breaker. All right, our third and final prediction is about Sarah and Xander and Maggie. In the new Days promo for the week, Xander and Sarah have a moment at the hospital. They're touching hands, they're looking into each other's eyes, and it looks like after he returns baby Victoria to her after a visit. Of course, their chemistry to me, I think, is electric. Sarah does admit that she's still drawn to him. We also know from the Day of Days promo spoilers that they kiss soon, and they've come close already, but they got interrupted. And I think it won't be too long until they're kissing and, more, much, much more. I predict they might even wind up in bed together this week, if not very soon. And then Xander, of course, is going to want her and Victoria to move in with him. What's interesting in all this is that there's still a huge fortune waiting on Xander once Teresa's scheme is exposed and he's revealed as Victor's real secret son. Victor, always ordered Xander around and treated him like garbage. And Xander so wanted his uncle's approval. Of course, now we know it's his dad whose approval he wanted. And he will get it from beyond the grave. But I think by the time it comes out, which is not going to be in the next couple of weeks, I think it's going to drag on for a while longer. I think it's going to be by that time icing on the cake, because what Xander really, really wants is to have Sarah back in his arms and to be a family with her and Victoria. So, the legacy and the inheritance, I think, will be a bonus, but not as important as winning her back. And of course, getting her back into the bedroom is all part of that. So look for a passionate reunion. Maggie, of course, will be thrilled. Constantine will not. And Victor's real son could be a thorn in Constantine's side. So this is all getting really, really good. All right, that's it. Please click subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss any of our updates. And be sure to drop your comments on these days' predictions. Whether you agree, disagree, or have another idea, I love talking days with you guys. And remember, we are here chatting about the NBC soap all week long, 7 days a week. So tune back in. And as always, this is Belinda from Soap Dirt. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.